Musk.
Elon Musk,
Yeah,
criminal and civil prosecution, if he allowed.
I know. Without getting permission from the EU, apparently.
With the former president of the United States, who is the nominee of one of our two big political parties. You can't listen to him give a live interview. He has to protect the people of Europe against that threat. Oh, and we should be objecting to that. The United States,
that's for sure.
A real president, President Biden, or Vice President Kamala Harris would be coming out waving flags saying, "You don't do that." We're
no matter what.
No matter what.
No matter what.
No matter what. It's absolute. You do not do that. You're not a democracy if you do that. And calling them out on it, there was none of that. So I think that if you don't understand that that censorship is incompatible with democracy, that is a disqualifier for being president of the United States. I worry that the things that Vice President Harris says she's for seem to be politically driven and not heartfelt. For example, her big promise, her promise about taxing tips, which she took from President Trump. And it seemed like a last minute, I'm going to do this because it's politically savvy. Her change on the border, her failure to explain why she didn't do that before, all of the inconsistencies in that seem, again, not heartfelt, but politically driven. The big signature, economic reform that she promised during the convention to give every new business in this country $50,000 gift. Okay, well, that's just laughable because in New York, there are 1,000 new businesses starting a day. That would be $50 million a day just for New York businesses. And if you gave that money, there'd be 2,000 or 3,000.
No kidding. That would be gained so fast you could hardly imagine it.
And so, she's talking about hundreds of billions of dollars a year. And where's that money going to come from? And then, her other idea, which is just a half-baked, discredited, terrible idea about price controls.
Oh, yeah.
And wage controls. Every time that's been tried, it's been a catastrophe. There's no place.
Because no one's ever done it right.
No, it can't be done right. And so none of these seem to be well thought out. None of them seem to be part of a coherent and consistent ideology or thought process. None of them seem to be common sense. And I think that, she did very well on the debate, but anybody can do well on that debate. Anybody who can pass the bar exam, which she did, doing that debate.
The bar for her was low too, to be fair.
The bar was low, but anybody can do. You can anticipate every question that you're going to be asked, or 95% of them. And if you're surrounded by good people, they can write you up a good 90-second, soundbite. So she had these 90-second sound bites and she delivered them well. But I think her understanding of issues seems to be an inch deep and a mile wide. And that, what I would really like to see is her going on long-form interviews like this.
I'd like to see that too.
Right, and being asked a second question, a third question. Why did you do this? Explain this. How is this consistent? What was your evolution? Just asking the kind of questions that any curious interview would ask and make her explain that, and she can't do it. And this is somebody who's supposed to be president of the United States. They're supposed to be able to go toe-to-toe with our critics around the world to explain her vision, to explain her record, to explain her aspirations for our country. It seems like she does not understand the uses of power, and we're seeing that, her support of the Ukraine war and of nuclear war, the risk of nuclear war. I don't think she has any comprehension. I don't think she has the ability to talk to foreign leaders. I haven't seen any evidence of that, and I think that she is susceptible to manipulation because she doesn't have firm ideas about her own. I think she's susceptible to manipulation by the deep state, by people who want the war, by the neocons that run the White House now and run the foreign policy apparatus of the State Department. And I fear that she'll be manipulated by them and that those entities actually want a nuclear war. So like they did in my uncle's time and like they've done for many, many years, they want a confrontation with Russia that will fragment Russia and give us access to its natural resources and eliminate our big competitor, in the West. And all of their policies have been bad.
That's a dire prognostication. That's for sure.
Yeah, so that's why I'm worried about, her. I'm worried she won't protect our civil rights, our constitutional rights at home, and she will allow America to be dragged into really catastrophic wars abroad. And at this point in history, I think that's, we've got the emergence of all these surveillance technologies of AI. This time in history, if we get a president like that, it will, for the next 4 years, it may be too late for our country to ever recover.
Attention men who still believe in the American dream. In a world gone mad, the Precision 5 from Jeremy's Razors stands as a beacon of sanity. 5 blades of superior engineering offer a shave as unshakable as your faith that the nation's best days still lie ahead. Experience an exceptionally smooth, remarkably close shave and a testament to the fact that merit still matters. Stop giving your money to woke corporations that hate you. Get Jeremy's Razors Precision 5 instead. Available now at jeremy'srazors.com, walmart.com, and Amazon Prime.
So you laid out 3 policy areas where you felt that you could work with President Trump very effectively: health, speech, and peace. And we've spent a fair bit of time concentrating on free speech and on peace and war. And I think we'll turn to that more, the peace and war issue, on the Daily Wire side in the conclusion of our interview. But maybe we could close up, if you don't mind, with some more thoughts on the health crisis. Because one of the things you've done that I think is unprecedented, and that's become perhaps more part of the public discussion since you've teamed up with Trump, is to make public health a political issue. And so you talked about the public health crisis, and maybe you could lay out the dimensions of that crisis. I mean, I know there's an obesity epidemic, there's a diabetes epidemic. These are very, very serious problems.